Hi, everyone. Um, okay. Dr. Sophia, I can see you're logged on. Just waiting for your request. Okay. Okay. Hi, everyone. Perfect.
Hello.
Hi. Hi, Dr. Sophia. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you.
It's nice to finally connect with you.
Yes, definitely.
So, hi, everyone, and thank you all for joining. Um, Just wanted to start by introducing myself. My name is Sajid Rohan. I'm the psychologist at Fozia Sultan Healthcare Network. And today I'm joined with Dr. Sophia Nam, also a psychologist with us at Fozia. And we're going to be talking about the stressors of dealing with COVID and the pandemic, especially because there's a lot of constant changes happening and people are experiencing stress constantly, and it's causing a lot of people to struggle with it. And towards the end, we're also going to be talking about a support group that Dr. Sophia is going to be introducing. So please stay tuned. I'm sure you can introduce it some more, and if you can go ahead and introduce yourself as well.
Sure. Thank you so much for this time. My name is Dr. Sophia. I am a licensed psychologist. I specialize in working with children, adolescents, and adults to really empower them to masterfully live their lives that can be so complex these days. And I'm very fortunate to have received academic training and clinical training at some of the best schools in the US, the Harvard and Boston University medical schools. And I specialize in things like neuropsychology, trauma, and learning disorders, career issues. So yeah, I'm really happy to be here to talk to you all about um, the COVID pandemic at hand and some of the things that we can do to alleviate the stress.
Yeah, so thank you again for joining. I'm sure your expertise is going to help a lot of people, including myself. So what we wanted to talk about was generally just the pandemic. I know everyone's been experiencing it and everyone's been struggling with it in their own ways. And when I say everyone, I mean like all the age groups, whether it's children,
Yes.
adults, even like elder adults. So stress can look differently depending on how people show it or how people can even experience it. And a lot of people can be experiencing stress because of many reasons. So I just wanted to see like what do you think that like how can stress look like in different people and
Yeah.
what may be causing the stress?
Yes. So Sarah, yes, you're right. This pandemic has brought changes to all of us, no matter who we are, where we live. Um,
Mhm.
but it is important for us to know that stress doesn't always look the same in people, especially when it comes to different age groups. So we may see that in children, stress looks like in behavioral changes. They can have
Mhm.
mood swings, they can be acting out, um, trying to defy authority, sometimes bullying and lying. All of these behavioral changes can be part of it. They can have changes in sleep patterns, have nightmares, wet beds. They can also
Mhm.
complain of stomach aches, headaches, and trouble concentrating in their schoolwork. Some of them actually become more withdrawn. They want to spend more time alone. They might become clingy. Um, and so,
Mhm.
depending on the age range, we may see some different manifestations. And some of these we can see in adults as well. I have definitely seen a lot of people who have become more socially withdrawn.
Mhm.
They have trouble concentrating at work, and they have, trouble finding meaning in life, and therefore withdraw even more. Anxiety and depression can pick up as well for adults.
Yeah.
So Yes, there are some overlaps, but definitely some differences that we see.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people experience it differently, which is why a lot of people can find it hard to even figure out that they're stressed. I'm sure people might think that they're not even stressed, but their body shows different ways, whether it's sleep problems or physical problems, tummy aches, and for kids, even like bedwetting. It's a big
Yes.
sign of experiencing stress.
That's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really important for us to be able to recognize in ourselves and also those around us that we care about what these signs might be so that we can help identify and find healthy ways to cope.
And I'm sure a lot of reasons may be causing the stress in people, but what do you think, based on your opinion and your observations, are like the main reasons people are being so stressed around COVID?
Sure, sure. So there is this general sense of fear and uncertainty, that we have to be very careful in everything that we do. So even simple tasks as, going grocery shopping or going out for a walk, it's a complex operation all of a sudden. So there's a
Yeah.
lot more energy that we have to expend on a daily basis. There's also things like, quarantine, lockdown, which means that there's more isolation. Although it is very necessary, it does bring more isolation, loneliness, and less access to the kind of social support and stress relieving strategies we might have had before.
Yeah.
There's, of course, losses. We may have lost some people that we really care about. And there's the fear of losing significant people and relationships as well. So it really affects our sense of safety, sense of meaning, connectedness to the world. And I think that another piece, of course, is the loss in jobs. Many people have been impacted heavily because of this pandemic. Some industries were really hard hit. So there were loss of jobs, reduced income, and just financial struggles really add to the stress as well.
Yeah, I hear that you're explaining that a lot of people have been experiencing a lot of uncertainty, and that's increased a lot of paranoia in a lot of people, whether or not I have it, whether or not I'm carrying it around. And again, like the loss of jobs, the just like the drastic changes a lot of people have been experiencing, and there's like a lack of safety, whether or not their job is going to be maintained within the next couple of months.
Yes.
So that, of course, is causing a lot of stress, and just thinking about it is stressful enough as well.
That's right.
So,
And you mentioned paranoia and overthinking, and these are kind of natural ways in which our mind tries to gain control over a very kind of an uncontrolled, out of control situation. But I'm sure we'll move into this soon. But I kind of compare these natural responses as akin to our inflammation responses in the body. When we get a physical injury, our body tries to fix itself by, putting a lot of more blood and, causing the swelling. But as we all know, the swelling is counterproductive to healing and getting better. So, some of the strategies I would love to share with the people who have joined us today, some real strategies to kind of ice our physical and mental injuries, and so that we can develop more healthy ways to cope.
Okay, yeah, that's a really nice way, and we can definitely talk some more about strategies to cope with our stress. But I know that so like what we're doing right now, a lot of services have been switched to being virtual. With the changes, there are a lot of or I guess with the pandemic, there have been a lot of changes, whether it's like with virtual schooling or switching to online services like telehealth, and even attending certain things like Instagram lives have become much more popular. And I'm sure there are a lot of benefits, but let's talk about the consequences. What do you think the consequences are about joining telehealth or virtual services?
Well, Sarah, to be honest with you, I really welcome this change. One of the things that we are seeing is this switch in our mindset, in thinking about telehealth, and I think it's a really welcome change for many people for many different reasons. So first of all, it really gives us a lower barrier to entry. A lot of people who felt that therapy was, really inaccessible are able to access it in the comfort of their own homes and their own time, and in the kind of safe environment that they like. So it makes our services a lot more accessible to more people. And although some people are a little bit, uneasy about the privacy issues, I can assure our viewers that we have good technology that ensures the privacy of our video calls. And in some ways, it actually increases our privacy, because I know that many people who have also cultural stigmas around mental health, they often feel a little anxious coming to a center, a physical location, lest they run into someone they know. And so, when we're doing telehealth, you can be in the comfort of your own home, your office, or even car, so that you know exactly where you are, and you have the privacy that you want.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Telehealth has made it much more attainable to do services like whether it's therapy or group therapy. A lot of people who find it hard, like the commute, whether it's in Kuwait or even abroad, that has made it so much easier. And connecting with people around the world has become much more efficient. And
that's right.
One like way of showing it is what we're doing right now. I know you're not in Kuwait right now.
Right, that's right. I am in Europe right now, but we're able to do this together, so it's amazing.
Exactly. It really is amazing. And I guess that's one thing that a lot of people might be hesitant to try out, because it is telehealth and not knowing if it's going to be as effective as in life or in-person therapy. But I personally think it is as effective. What about you? What do you have? Are your thoughts any different?
With you on that, Sarah. Yes, all of my clients have expressed, extremely good levels of satisfaction when we switched to online therapy, and our interactions have been virtually the same. And I think it even kind of made things more efficient for us, and we are streamlining our communication in more ways. So it's been great.
Okay, I'm glad that you have the same experience as well. And I'm sure, like you mentioned, a lot of people have been experiencing difficult situations, whether it's losing a job or losing a family member, or even just experiencing that paranoia with the constant changes. And a lot of people have been experiencing stress. And I know you mentioned it's like an inflammation in the body. And there's a lot of strategies, I'm sure, that can reduce stress. And I would love to hear your input about that.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. So first step is always to recognize that we are stressed, right? So the kind of signs of stress that we mentioned earlier, it could be some changes in your mood, changes in your behavior, your sleep patterns, eating patterns. Just note for any changes that you are experiencing, and really try to pay attention more to your body as well, because when we are going through stress, there are more kind of palpable signs that you may not have noticed before. So you may be carrying more stress and tension in your body, maybe in your shoulder area, your neck area, your stomach area, and just paying more attention to some of these signs can be the first step. And when we do recognize these signs, it is so important for us to take a moment to acknowledge them. And rather than trying to avoid them or to, deny them or, forget about them, it's important for us to actually lean in and pay attention. And taking a moment to actually think and talk to yourself, maybe even in a diary, voice recording, or with a friend or a therapist, talking and expressing those feelings, articulating them, putting words to them can be such a powerful thing that we can do, so that we can externalize some of the internal stress that we feel and be able to share it with others. And by sharing it, we can really feel like we're understood. We're not alone. We're in this together. And within that interaction, we can also pick up some new tips and new ways to think about the situation, to deal with the situation, and it can really help us grow more as people as well.
Yeah.
One more thing I would love to say is that I call it the psychological first aid. So when we go under stress, our body reacts in this fight or flight or freeze kind of response. So if your body is kind of in this fight response where it's kind of, really gearing up for some kind of a moment, your blood pressure goes up, your heart is racing, and your thoughts are going at 100 kilometers per hour. Take a moment to do things to bring that down. Breathing is an awesome thing that we can do anywhere, any time of day. It's just a matter of checking with yourself and breathing and regulating that breath, regulating the heartbeat, and everything else follows. If you're feeling like you're frozen, like you're immobilized, doing things to kind of activate our bodies, whether it be, going out for a walk, taking a cold or hot shower, changing our body temperature a little bit, doing things that engage our senses, listening to music, touching things that we like. Those kind of activation strategies are really helpful as well. So depending on how your body is reacting, trying to work with it and bring it up to a more of a kind of a medium level is a really good way to do that.
Yeah, these are really helpful tips. And like the first one you mentioned is kind of just almost allowing ourselves to experience stress. A lot of people
Yes.
are afraid of even admitting that they're stressed or even sitting with any emotion and would rather dismiss it, but kind of just experiencing it and identifying it, like you mentioned. And then kind of applying whatever strategy is more applicable during that time. So if your mood is or energy levels are low, to kind of activate that, and if you feel like you're too activated, to kind of decrease that. Yeah, that's a really clear way of putting it. And I think the clearer it is, the less intimidated people feel with it.
That's right.
And I know a lot of people also tend to kind of dismiss that the fact that they're stressed, or think that it doesn't really affect anything else other than their own selves. But I know a lot of relationships are can be disruptive when people are stressed, like interpersonal conflicts or even work productivity can be harmed.
That's right. That's right. Sarah, you're right. So when we dismiss and ignore our stress levels, what happens is that it just pops out and affects us in other ways that we don't expect. So, it may disrupt our relationships. It may disrupt our work, and all areas of life that we may not have necessarily wanted them there, but it has a way of just popping out anyway. And there's another danger in leaving stress unaddressed, is that it becomes chronic. If we recognize something and deal with it, cope with it, and learn to manage it, we have an opportunity to reset our bodies, reset our minds, to go back down to the base level. But if we leave it unaddressed for a long period of time, it can actually cause profound damages to our immunity, the immune system, and just our health in general. So, we have seen heart disease and other kind of like diabetes, high blood pressure. All these kind of things can result when we do not address it in a timely manner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I can hear that it's when we don't address it, it doesn't really go away, the stress. It becomes chronic and becomes something that people are used to just living with, but it might be okay in the meantime, but in the long run, it can affect everything, whether it's physical health, interpersonal conflicts, issues with our life, which I can only imagine increases the sense of stress and anxiety that one even experiences.
That's right. That's right.
Um, And I know you're going to be running a COVID support group or stress management support group around COVID, which is amazing and it's really exciting. And I'd love to hear some more about it. And I'm sure the viewers would as well.
Yes, yes, yes. I am so excited to be offering the support group because I
Mm-hmm.
have run a few of these before and they were just magical. There is a power when people come together and be able to share experiences in a very safe environment
Yeah.
where they don't have to fear judgment and they can just be themselves. And it really allows us to understand that we really are not alone in this experience.
Mm-hmm.
And, by hearing other people talk about their experience, it actually brings some more awareness. Oh, I didn't think about that. I think I might be going through that too. Thank you
Yeah.
for mentioning that. And there is this interaction, this synergy that just happens in the group where people are exchanging understanding, but also information and tips. It just
Mm-hmm.
really becomes this magical thing that happens. And in a matter of few weeks, I have seen that group members report less anxiety, more hope, and they
Oh,
become
wow.
more equipped with tools to really cope and really move forward with their lives. So I'm very excited to be offering this.
Yeah, that sounds really exciting. I know that with groups, there's a power of feeling validated and validating others and feeling heard and understood and connected, which can really
Mhm.
counteract the sense of isolation and staying home, which a lot of people have
Yeah,
been struggling with COVID. And
exactly.
just to clarify it further for anybody interested in the group, it will there how's the like I guess setup of the group going to be? Is it more personal based, like people sharing their stories, or will it be like
Mhm.
more, I guess, skills based?
Sure, sure. So this group will take place online. So as we discuss the
Okay.
benefits of telehealth, I think it would be
Mm-hmm.
really great for people to join in a secure, private location, and we'll be in this virtual space together. And we will be doing this in a semi-structured manner where
Okay.
people will be talking, about their own experiences, hearing each other and giving feedback. There will be components of psychoeducation, which where I, let people know about how stress works, how it impacts our body, what it looks like, what we can do, and we will combine that with some skill building as well. So some
Mm-hmm.
concrete tools that you can take right away to implement in your life to experience immediate changes. So
Mm-hmm.
it will be things like, meditation, mindfulness exercises, breathing exercises, but also building healthy routines, changing certain things in your diet,
Mm-hmm.
exercising, other interpersonal skills, all these skills that are very integral to our, full abundant life. We will be discussing them in the group as well.
Okay, that's great. And I guess that could be applied for anyone experiencing any stress. It doesn't necessarily need to be related to COVID. Is that right?
Right. A lot of the things that we'll be talking about will be about life. The
Mm-hmm.
COVID has impacted us in a way that it sometimes highlights some of the pre-existing issues that we have had,
Yeah.
um, and it just somehow amplifies some of those things. So we'll be discussing COVID-related stress, but we will soon
Mm-hmm.
realize that it is about life.
Very- Yeah. Hmm.
Hmm.
Which I guess can be applicable to so many people and
Yeah.
everyone can relate to that because everyone
Yes.
experiences
Definitely.
stress one time or another during their lifetime. And
Hmm.
lastly, just wanted to mention the whole idea of confidentiality, and I'm sure that's taken very seriously,
Yes.
even with the support.
Yes, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I describe confidentiality as the lifeblood in what I do, and
Yeah.
and it is absolutely crucial in setting up a safe environment
Mm-hmm.
for people to feel like they can say what's on their minds without fearing that it will go out and be gossiped about. You know, it'll just really be that space for themselves, the time for themselves
Yeah.
to just to express what's on their minds. So we will be definitely discussing some ground rules
Mm-hmm.
to really make sure that everyone is on the same page about confidentiality, but
Okay.
also respect. Also, you know, other things that make a group a safe environment.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll spend
Yeah.
moments during the first session to discuss that.
Yeah, and I think that'll make a lot of people just feeling more safe and eager
That's
and
right.
more comfortable even to share, whether it's with telehealth, with personal therapy, or group therapy.
That's right.
Thank you for taking the time, Dr. Sophia, for explaining everything. If anyone has any questions, I've been keeping my eye out. I haven't seen any questions. Um, But if anyone has any further questions, you can feel free to send either this account or Dr. Sophia's account any personal messages, and I will both be happy to respond. And
Definitely.
also, please stay tuned and expect the information to come out about the COVID support group regarding timing and registration and any other further information that is in interest of anyone.
Yes, that's right. Please stay tuned. Yes, we're hoping to launch it in January, this
Okay.
registration process. So
Mhm.
please stay tuned, and I look forward to seeing many of you there.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Sophia, for your time. I'm sure everyone really benefited from everything you said. So thank you
Sure,
again, and it's nice to connect with you.
definitely. Same to you, Sarah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
All
Bye-bye.
right, everyone, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.